Hello and welcome to another Bearded Geek toy review. In today's video we reverse the polarity of the neutron flow and we check out this box that I've received from Character Options. What's in the box? Stay tuned.
Welcome back, viewers. And here at the Devil's Hump, the excitement is intense. The stage is set.
Welcome back to the channel, and look what has materialised here at Bearded Geek Towers. Yes, it's the latest Character Options online exclusive. Only went up for pre-order on Tuesday, I believe. Was it Tuesday? I think it was. Ordered it later that day, and lo and behold, it turned up today in the post whilst I was at work. So a very late video being uploaded today, but obviously got to get this up and reviewed as quickly as possible. So yeah, this looks like it's going to be very, very cool. So nicely packaged by Character as always, in a nice sturdy cardboard box. But we're not interested in the plain cardboard box, are we? We were interested in what's inside. So let's get this open without further ado. So here it is, the Third Doctor and Sonic Screwdriver Vortex Edition figure, an electroplated electronic Sonic. That's a bit of a mouthful, isn't it? Yes, this is the first in a series of 5 similar Vortex Edition figures that I think we're going to be getting over the course of the year. All Character Online exclusives, so not B&M exclusives, and not available on the high street as the recent Ncuti Gatwa 15th Doctor and Ruby Sunday figures were. Yeah, this is a little bit pricey, $44.99 from Character's website. But I think, obviously, when you take into account, obviously, the new kind of like Vortex edition figures that they're making with, like, added paint jobs, new face sculpts, etc. And then you've got this chrome-plated Sonic Screwdriver, which obviously comes with multiple sound effects. You add those two together, and you would probably, if they were separate, you'd probably pay roughly about the same price. So when you take that into consideration, it's not as if it's dramatically like out of the price tag of what it would normally be if these were available like standard and not online exclusives. So it follows the similar packaging of the recent Vortex editions of the 15th Doctor and Ruby Sunday, which I reviewed a couple of months back when they were released. So check out that in the Doctor Who playlist that is linked in the description below. And obviously it's in kind of like very Third Doctor-esque style colours. You've kind of like got that reddy kind of orange, reminiscent of the opening title sequence to John Pertwee's era, which ran 1970 to 1974. Now, this figure is based on his appearance from the 1971 story, The Demons, which was the kind of like effectively season finale of season 8, which was broadcast in 1971, and is regarded as a fan favourite because obviously it features the unit family, the Brigadier, and obviously it's the culmination of season 8, which had the Master as the arch enemy in every single story of the season. So it has obviously the Third Doctor Sonic Screwdriver, which has been released a couple of times, but it's never been done in this chrome style finish. And I think that's a really nice touch from Character. And obviously you have the TARDIS there. You've got the diamond logo, which is the current, obviously, like logo for the series. You've got it on the side. You've got the BBC Doctor Who logo there, and the top, and the side where it says the Third Doctor. And then on the back, you've got quite a potted history of the Third Doctor as portrayed by John Pertwee, and obviously quite a description there of the actual story, the demons. So if you don't want to be spoiled by a story from 1971, don't read that. And obviously it says up here, the Vortex edition. These are a new range of figures which feature a higher specification deco applied over a new base colour plastics for extra detail. And you've got a quote there from the Third Doctor. A straight line may be the shortest distance between 2 points, but it's by no means the most interesting. And then the contents, we have 1 electroplated Third Doctor electronic sonic screwdriver, 1 Third Doctor high specification decorated figure, 1 cloak accessory, removable, and we'll look at that, 1 giant maggot accessory from his famous season 10 story, The Green Death, 1 sonic screwdriver accessory for the figure, and 1 Kronos crystal accessory. So that's enough about all that. Let's actually get this open and have a look at the contents. Just before we look at the actual content itself, a little bit of a comment on the inner packaging, which is done in that nice kind of like art style of the Third Doctor's TARDIS walls, which had a distinctive, for one season anyway, which I think was season 9, those kind of washing bowl basin roundels, which people kind of like take the mick out of. Most prominently seen in the season 9 season finale, the Time Monster, which obviously is where the Kronos crystal comes from. So nice little touch there from a character, giving you a nice printed inlay. And then at the bottom of that, you've also got some sonic screwdriver instructions, which leads us to, let's look at the sonic screwdriver first. So here we have the Third Doctor's sonic screwdriver, and as you can see, it is very, very nicely done in this kind of like electro-plated chrome finish, something that we've not had previously with the sonic screwdriver releases. And obviously these have all been released a couple of times over the years, but not as nice looking as this. So the only kind of comparison I can show you is literally a comparison to the Fourth Doctor sonic screwdriver, which is kind of like the only real classic screwdriver that I have when this was first released. Never got the Third Doctor one, but obviously you can see the difference in the chrome plating there, and obviously there's a slight kind of like size difference as well, because the Fourth Doctor's was a lot less flashy, didn't have this kind of like yellow kind of stripy thing there around the top section. So obviously this one makes sounds, but this one kind of like only makes like one generic sonic screwdriver sound, which is more the sound of the actual new series sonic screwdriver rather than anything from the classic series. Now this one apparently has a brand new sound effects. So obviously it works by pushing this section down. Now that is the classic sound effect of the sonic screwdriver from the original series. Yeah, so obviously you can get different sounds out of it, obviously if you do different combinations. So I think there you go. So if you do 2, you get that sound. Just 1 is the standard sound. 3, 1, 2, 3, you get that. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh no, 1. Let's try 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, so I think there's just those sounds there, unless anybody knows any different. So that's really, really cool, actually. I do think, obviously, as this is the first in the series of 5, I've got my suspicions on what the other figures are going to be. Obviously, I have no inside knowledge as of yet. Sometimes I do get tipped off about stuff. But I'm going to speculate at the end of the video what I think the other 4 Vortex edition figures with the sonic screwdrivers that we're going to get later this year. But that is a really, really cool accessory. Something to add value to this Vortex edition figure, which we'll look at now.
What worries me is the choice. Domination by the master or total annihilation.
The end of the world.
And here he is, the new 3rd Doctor figure based on John Pertwee's likeness, a brand new face sculpt, inspired by his appearances in Season 7 and Season 8, where his hair was not as, shall we say, bouffant, and white. He had very much grey hair during those first couple of seasons before he then kind of like transpired into like kind of like the hairstyle that we know and love from John Pertwee's time as the Doctor. So as you can see, there's kind of like a new paint job on the cravat and also on the edges of the jacket, which has been given this kind of like dull kind of finish, which makes it look almost like it's velvet in style. It's the first 3rd Doctor figure where we've got him wearing gloves, which essentially is just the hands painted black, because you can actually see his ring there on his pinky finger, which is sculpted in. But never mind. You've got a purple inside of the cloak there. Now, the cloak is apparently made of softer material than what we usually get. So I'm going to obviously do a comparison against 2 other 3rd Doctor figures shortly. Well, let's just have a closer look at that facial sculpt. And again, this is, again, taking inspiration, this new style of doing figures, which is moulding the whole head in the same flesh-coloured tone plastic and then painting the details on, which is something that obviously character didn't do originally. They started that with the Colin Baker figure that came with the 6th Doctor TARDIS set from B&M, was it about 18 months ago? And then carried that on with the Fugitive Doctor, and then obviously we had Ncuti Gatwa's Doctor, where his face and was moulded in his natural flesh tones, and then obviously the rest of the details are then painted on. So let's just do a comparison here. So let's take this and compare it to the very, very first 3rd Doctor figure we got way back in 2011, I believe. So as you can see, there is a difference there. Obviously, the hair is the main thing that stands out. But you can kind of like tell that the sculpt in this one is more or less based on his appearance in the later years, probably from season 9, 10 and 11 onwards, which makes sense because this figure was based on his appearance in the Sea Devils. Obviously, we're not getting pinless joints on this one. This is essentially the same figure, but obviously with a brand new face sculpt, so it's not like the 15th Doctor figure that we reviewed that had like pinless arms there. So yeah, there is obviously, a little bit of a, saving money, but I get it. They utilising sculpts here. But obviously the main thing is the new digital likeness that they've created from his earlier appearances. So you've got an earlier era Doctor than this one. And you can kind of like see in profile the likenesses. Now, I always thought this was good, but a little quite off, and it just shows you the comparison of what a good paint job actually does to a face sculpt. Because let's look at the last ever 3rd Doctor figure that we got before we got this Vortex edition one. And if you look at that one, it's almost as if it's got a lighter paint job than the original first one, which is right here on the left. And it gives you a much better likeness. And then you've got a whiter kind of wash in the hair. Ignore the kind of like almost blue lips that he's got, because this is based on John Pertwee's appearance in The Five Doctors, the 20th anniversary story. But almost, I think that brought out the likeness of the sculpt a lot better than the actual original figure. So let's put the Sea Devils version down and put them back over there, and then compare these two. Because obviously you've got very polarizing doctors here. So you've got John Pertwee from the almost beginning of his era as the Third Doctor, and then 12 years later you've got obviously his final appearance as the Doctor in the show in 1983's The Five Doctors. So yeah, you can kind of see obviously, the differences in the sculpt, and obviously, this is obviously an older version of John Pertwee, and this is very much like inspired by him as he was first starting out. I like it. It looks a lot better in person than what I believe it's coming across in camera. In camera, it's looking a little bit waxy, but I can assure you, actually, in person, it doesn't appear waxy at all. So, yeah, it's really good. But it's the standard figure besides that. Now, the cloak is removable, as the cloaks are in everything related to here. So let's just kind of like move him about. Let's see if we can just get this cloak taken off. So there's no real shocker there with the fact that you can remove the cloaks off them, because they're all designed like that. I'm just going to test that plastic in a little bit. But this is what he looks like without the cloak. And obviously you can see more attention to detail with the little paint work, doing the details on the velvet jacket around there. Not much to show on the back. Again, obviously there's no pinless joints at the legs, so they are just reusing the original John Pertwee figure there. Same with the shoes, they're all the same. It's just the main focus is on the new facial sculpt. So let's just put him down there, and then let's look at this one. So actually, if you just compare the malleability of the cloaks, they're exactly made out from more or less the same plastic virtually. I know I've seen some reviews who've got this very, very early, who obviously must have got them sent to them by Character Options to get their reviews out right on the day of the announcement. Boo, hiss, hate people like that. I don't really. I'm just joking. But yeah, there's no real kind of like difference in the actual softness of the plastic. Yes, it's more malleable because obviously it means you can take it on, put it off, etc. Take it. I got that the wrong way around. Take it off, put it on. But yeah, it's exactly the same kind of plastic that they've used. So it's a slightly softer, rubbery plastic there. Now, this Third Doctor set does come with 3 accessories for him. Now, it comes with a giant maggot. Now, the interesting thing is there are actually chase variants on this, because the original Green Death Third Doctor figure, which came with 3 giant maggots that were all slightly different. So I'll show you the comparison of the other ones that you can get here. But there's a nice kind of paint job on there. Very similar to the original release, obviously with that green slime on it. But yeah, you can get all 3 different versions. And I think it is virtually potluck, because obviously you order this off the Character website. It gets sent out randomly, so you don't know which giant maggot that you're going to get. You then have obviously his sonic screwdriver accessory, which obviously let's have a look at that there, which has some nice detail and paint work on it, and is virtually similar to the original Sonic. In fact, it's the same thing. So yeah, it's just obviously, I actually think the paintwork on that one's a lot better. It looks a little bit sloppier on this one. But yeah, there's his sonic screwdriver. So that's obviously great to have a Sonic with the Doctor, because obviously with the B&M exclusives, we weren't getting those, or very, very rarely. And then you've got the Kronos Crystal, which again came out previously, released with the first release of the Roger Delgado Master, which I have got, and he is currently holding the Kronos Crystal from that set, so we'll do a comparison of that in a minute. So those are the three main accessories. I know they've listed the cloak as the accessory, but I think that's a bit cheeky from character, because the cloak is so distinctive of the Third Doctor's costume that to list that as an accessory, I think he's taking the piss a little bit. Trying to justify that £45 price there. But there you go. Those are the accessories for this figure. So a very quick comparison of the Kronos Crystal. This is the original one that came with this Roger Delgado Master figure. So as you can see, I don't recall it being as kind of yellow, but it looks like it has kind of like just faded a little bit over time. But certainly when I purchased it, it was not this vibrant. So obviously I don't know whether this is just better plastic that this has been molded in. It kind of like feels the same, or whether it just kind of like yellows over time, which is a little bit worrying. But I think we'll certainly be looking at swapping that out for the new version, because that looks so much better. But I remember the prop from the story didn't look as vibrant as that, so it did have that kind of like yellowness to it. So that just may be that's a little bit more screen accurate, and they've decided to put it in that more vibrant kind of like clear plastic there. Well, there you go. There's a little bit of comparison for the original Kronos Crystal and the one that comes with this set. And then finally, here's a comparison of the Giant Maggot. Now, this is the original release version, and obviously this is the Vortex edition. Obviously, the paint jobs are slightly variant, but you can really kind of like see there's not much of a variance in the style of the Maggot. So it's probably just another Giant Maggot that I'm going to put, in my Third Doctor display. Just to show that the other two that you can get are obviously going to be this one, which is the one that's like kind of slightly raising up, and it's showing its jaws there, which you can just about see. And then you've got this other main one that obviously is really like raised up, and obviously again wielding its jaws there from that very memorable scene where the Doctor comes across the giant maggots. And obviously that is the reason why in the packaging you've got this here, because obviously it allows them to put either that version in the plastic, that version like that, or that version. So it is completely random. You can't specify which one you get. So you will have some collectors out there who will probably try and get all three variants, because some collectors are like that. Well, there you go. There's the original three giant maggots that came with the Green Death Third Doctor figure.
We're all in mortal danger.
Everyone in the village?
Everyone in the whole world.
So, all in all, I think this is a really good set, and it's a welcome new sculpt for the Third Doctor. As I said previously, the original sculpt of the Third Doctor could be sometimes very, very hit and miss, dependent on how heavy-handed the paint job was. So this new kind of like version of them doing the face sculpts in the base flesh colour and then adding the details by paint afterwards, I think is a really good way of getting new versions of these characters. Now, obviously, this is the first of 5 Vortex editions that we're getting this year. So each of them, we are assuming, will come with a sonic screwdriver accessory like this one. So here is my speculation on the other 4 figures that we're going to get later this year. I think just because he's probably the most popular classic era Doctor, I think we are going to get a 4th Doctor Vortex edition figure with his sonic screwdriver chrome plated, which I think will look absolutely marvellous. And yeah, I'll definitely be getting that one. Now, whether he's going to look like his classic Series 12 look, his classic kind of like other looks that he's had, but there is one key 4th Doctor figure that was sculpted that we never received, we've not had released yet, and that's the Season 18 hatted version, with him in his burgundy style scarf and costume, but we're wearing a burgundy hat. Now, that's the only 4th Doctor figure that we have not yet had released that we know has been sculpted. So I won't be surprised if the Vortex edition is the 4th Doctor with a chrome-plated sonic screwdriver and based on his appearance from the Ledger Hive in Season 18. With regards to the other ones, I think you're going to be looking more at the new series. I think it's more or less a shoo-in that we're going to get the most popular Doctor from the new series, which is obviously David Tennant. Now, whether that's going to be the 10th Doctor or the 14th Doctor, because he's greedy and he's played 2 versions of the Doctor, I don't know. I think it's more likely we're going to get a 10th Doctor with a brand new head sculpt and with those kind of like new joints. That was speculated by Al Dewar, who obviously is the creative designer of the Doctor Who range for character, and he's long speculated and said that there was a new 10th Doctor tooled and has more movability, pinless joints, etc. So I won't be surprised if that comes out in this Vortex edition. I then think we're probably going to get a Matt Smith with a new head sculpt. Probably more based on his classic Series 5 and Series 6 look, with probably more paint detail in his tweed jacket. And then finally, I think the 5th figure will be Peter Capaldi's 12th Doctor. Mainly because of 2 reasons. His sonic screwdriver, the unique one that he had from the end of Series 9 into Series 10, is very, very rare, very, very hard to find, and I think that would be a welcome re-release. And also, we never got a 12th Doctor figure with the distinctive waistcoat underneath his jacket. So I think that gives them an option of retooling that figure slightly, putting a new face head sculpt on there, and also then sculpting in the waistcoat underneath his jacket to give us that version. That's my speculation. That's what I'm thinking we're going to get as the other 4 figures in this range across the year. So basically, it's wait and see. But what do you think the other 4 figures are going to be? Do you think they're actually going to be other Doctors? Do you think we're going to get a brand new version of the 2nd Doctor or the 5th Doctor or the 8th Doctor? Obviously, I think it's going to be tied in with whichever Doctor's had sonic screwdrivers. So as we know, obviously, the 6th Doctor and the 7th Doctor didn't really have a sonic screwdriver. Neither did the 1st Doctor. And the 2nd Doctor, who was the first one to introduce the sonic screwdriver, it was basically a light pen that they used. It wasn't an actual specially designed prop. So I don't think that sounds appealing in this kind of set, just to like give away a light pen with a chrome finish. I think that would be a little bit lame. But anyway, what do you think? Back to this figure, I think it's a welcome addition to the Doctor Who figure range. And yes, you can order it now. It's still available to order, $44.99, exclusive to the Character Options website. Well, thank you for watching, and if you like that video, then please leave us a like. It really does help out the channel, and also share it with as many Doctor Who fans or fans of action figures as you like. That also helps spread the word Thank you once again to all the recent subscribers, it really is appreciated. And don't forget to hit that notification bell to be notified whenever we upload any brand new videos. Lots of cool stuff still to come, but in the meantime, take care, stay safe, and we'll see you very, very soon on Bearded Geek Toy Reviews. Bye now.
Suppose something was to happen and nobody knew the explanation. Nobody in the world, in the universe. Well, that would be magic, wouldn't it?
You saw the devil.
Yes, Satan, Lucifer, the Prince of Darkness, the horned beast.
Hearken to my voice, O Dark One, ancient and awful.
Call him what you like, he was there.
Be present here at my command and truly do my will.
Stop! Don't pull that stone! Don't!
As my will, so mote it be.